Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I want to do a little extra content for all of you folks today. Today I would like to go over what I think are the top 5 Vanguards for this set that we have here. This new set obviously is called Murders at Karlov Manor. And yeah, this will cover what I think are the top 5 Vanguards. Alright, so first, number 5 on my list. This is what I've got here. I've got Gaia Drone, Dihada. This is an interesting one. You can use this one over here. You can see +2. That's kind of nice. I like these ones that have +2. That's usually really good. Your opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Alright, so that doesn't sound super overwhelming, but it can be used with several planeswalkers, kind of like Sorin 1 will be good with this one. So there is some use here. The second ability is this -3 shields. If you control 2 or less creatures, gain control of target opposing creature until end of turn. Then that creature gains haste until the end of turn. This is a nice one. I think it's reasonably priced here. I think what you'll find is that you grab some of these creatures that your opponent's been beating you up with, probably all game, and use them against your opponent. That sometimes can be a game winner. I do like this one here. And for -7 shields, it's the last one. Create a copy of all opposing supports on the board under your control. This is an interesting one, right? If your opponent's got a lot of those simple tokens, you're going to be able to make a copy of all of those. That's going to be nice for you. A lot of times you'll kind of look at this and you'll be like, oh, you know what? I wonder if I can use this with maybe Omniscience. You could, but you don't get that renewal of shields that you kind of like with Omniscience. A lot of people will run that kind of over and over and over again, but you won't have that here. But still, nonetheless, it's a really good one. Okay, so here's the next one on my list. This is number 4, Aminatu the Fate Shifter. +1 shield, draw a card, then create a copy in your hand of the top card of your library. I think this is a good one. There's some uses here. Basically what that means is you'll get 2 cards, and on the next turn what you'll find is that you'll have this draw ability again, right, for the beginning of your turn. And that means you'll have a copy plus the original of the card that's on the top. So you'll have 2 of those. And that's really good sometimes. A lot of times we'll have cards in our decks that we want to use over and over and over again. And this is going to help you to do that. So really, really cool here. This one I think is the power of this card. I like this one the most. Exile target creature you control, then create a copy of that creature on the battlefield under your control and reinforce that creature. This is what we refer to as flicker, right? Kind of like a flickering of a light. The light will be on and then it'll flicker off and then it'll come back on. This is kind of what it will do. It'll flicker a creature. And flicker is really good when you have those creatures that will do the special ability when they enter the battlefield, right? So I'm talking about specifically cards like Moonshaker Cavalry. You'll see that your creatures will get a nice buff when that creature comes into play. So this one, it will help you in that regard, right? You play Moonshaker Cavalry, that's going to help you to get that buff. Then you exile Moonshaker Cavalry using this, and then it'll bring it back on, and then you'll be able to reuse that ability to get that buff a second time. The only thing I don't really like about this is it's a little bit on the expensive side. -2 shields, a little expensive in my opinion, because you can get this same ability with different Vanguards for less. Alright, here's the last one for this particular card here. Exile the top 4 cards from your library, then move the first support card from your exile into your hand. That card gains X mana. X is the number of cards in all exiles. I think this one's going to be very good with planeswalkers like Kaya 1. Kaya 1's going to help you to send a lot of cards into your exile. This is going to help there. Also, if you want to play cards in your exile, what I would take a look at is Jaliva. Jaliva's got the 3 colors, just like this one here. Basically, what that means is you can use Meeting of the 5 to get them both out. So, really cool there. Alright, here's the next one. This is number 3 on my list, Jarod Cathalion. Jarod Cathalion is a nice one here. This first ability, you get the Kavu. That's kind of cool. What I really like is you got all the colors, and it's got Trample. Kind of nice there. Here is the second ability, -3 shields. This is where I think some of the strength of this card is. You can see you get a really big buff. Target creature gets +X+X. X is the amount of green gems on the board, up to 15. Then you can create a gold token. This one's going to be really nice with decks that will convert lots and lots of gems to green. That's going to help you to pay for this card. You can see it's a little on the expensive side, but then it's going to help you with this because you're going to be able to use it in a nice way that's going to be really effective, getting you that big buff. Finally, here's a good one. Destroy all simple tokens, then gain X mana. X is 2 times the amount of simple supports that were destroyed this way. You know, a little while ago, I put out a Planeswalker review for Ugin, and I used a card called Cease, right? And Cease, the opposite side is, I believe it's called Desist. And it destroyed all of the gems on the board, and that was how I was able to play, I think it was 39 Phyrexian Toxin tokens in one turn. And really, the whole point of that is you got to destroy these simple tokens, right? And this is a card that will help you to do that too. I think this is a card that will probably be substituted for that Cease Desist card in a lot of decks. This one, you can destroy all those simple tokens, you'll gain some mana, and if you use it in a deck that's similar to that one that I built for Ugin, then you're going to see that you're going to be able to get a ton of those Phyrexian Toxin tokens down all in one turn and just win games like that. Alright, here's the next one. This is number 2 on my list, Estrid the Mask. Alright, so this is an interesting one. This first ability +2, as I mentioned, I like those that have that +2 or plus more than 1. Those are usually really helpful. The first enchantment card in your hand gains 3 mana for each enchantment you control. Now, obviously, you're going to want to use Estrid with decks that's got a lot of those enchantment cards, right? Enchantments are going to help you a lot. I would also suggest looking at playing Estrid with those Rat Swarm tokens. Rat Swarms are nice because those are really easy to put out. Several cards will get you a few of them all in one shot, and they're all going to count as enchantments, right? So this is going to be a nice card with those Rat Swarm tokens. This is where I think the power of this one here is. Create a mass token. It's a support card, an enchantment with 2 shields. At the beginning of your turn, your first creature without prevent damage gets +1/+1 and gains prevent damage until the beginning of your next turn. I really like that one. That one's going to help you to protect your creatures when they block. This is an excellent one. I think -1 here, -1 shield. I think that's a little bit cheap for this. Right, I'd pay more than that. I'd pay -2 just because it's going to give you that prevent damage, and that's an excellent ability. Really cool stuff on that one. Alright, finally, here's the last one. Destroy the top 5 cards of your library, then return all enchantment cards from your graveyard into play. I like this one a lot. I like this one when you consider that you can destroy the top 5 cards of your library, so that's going to put stuff into your graveyard. If you have enchantments like Starfield of Nyx, this will bring a Starfield of Nyx back onto the battlefield. And Starfield of Nyx is a great support because it's going to help you to take all of those supports that are in your graveyard and put them on the battlefield under your control one by one every turn. That's going to be a nice card for this one here. Alright, finally guys, here is what I think is the best card out of all the Vanguards that we've gotten. Alright, Daretti, Ingenious, Iconoclast. This is an interesting one, but I really think this is a good one because you can use it very effectively in some decks. Alright, I'll kind of explain what I mean here. Right, the first one is create a construct token, then construct creatures you control gain defender until the beginning of your next turn. That's an interesting one. You obviously can use it for token decks. I would like to play Rebecca, the Architect of Ascension, for this particular style of play. She's got that leader construct ability, and she's gonna be able to suck up all these construct tokens and reinforce her every single turn every time you use it. Now, a thing that I like here also is that you got this defender ability. Defender is nice, especially if you're considering using it with Thopters, right? Because Thopters are constructs. Thopters will get this defender ability as well. And in fact, if we're talking about using these Thopters, I would also use the Thopters with a Rebecca deck as well, right? That Architect of Ascension that we just talked about. She's going to suck up all of those and make herself really big and really strong. Every single turn, I think if you use that one card, the Thopter Spy Network, you're going to be able to get 4 reinforcements for her. Stuff like Fuss and Bother, that's the flip side. You're going to get a lot of those tokens for her to just reinforce every turn. Surveillance Monitor, again, the same thing. Big, strong reinforcements for her. I think this is a great card. Alright, -1 shield, destroy target creature. This is a really good one here. Obviously, there's more to it. You get some gold there, but I really like this one because it provides with some good removal, and it's reasonably priced, right? -1 of the shields, that's a really good deal. You'll see a lot of the removal on Vanguards cost a little bit more, so this one you're getting at a deal here. Excellent stuff. Finally, here's a really good one. Choose target creature, then create a copy of that card in play under your control. If that card is an artifact card, reinforce it 3 times. Kind of going with that Rebek card, that idea, that deck that I'm talking about with these constructs, with these Thopters, her sucking them up and making her really big. This is a really good ability for that same style of deck. What I would use is the Hangerback Walker. That's going to be a really good one. That's going to make you tons and tons of Thopters. That's a big, strong creature. It's 8/8. If you use this ability on that, you're going to be able to buff him really, really strong. And really, that just helps you to consolidate the ideas that you're using for a deck like that with Rebek. And it's going to help you to build it really strong, really fast. So really, really cool stuff here. Anyway, that's it for me. I hope you guys liked this video. As always, what we say is like and subscribe, share with all your friends. That really helps the channel. All right, that's it for me. Good gaming, guys.